Hey guys, how's it going? Are you tired of always playing the same AAA franchises with giant maps and forgettable stories? Then get ready. Because today, I'm going to show you 10 new Metroidvanias that will make you abandon blockbusters without looking back. I'm Matthew and we're starting the list with Mariachi Legends, an action and adventure game. More specifically, a Metroidvania developed by Halberd Studios. The game stands out for its brutal pixel art aesthetic and its setting in Mexico, rich in folklore and local culture. The player takes on the role of Pablo Cruz, a detective who made a pact with death itself, gaining the power to transform into La Sombra, a supernatural mariachi, to combat the evil that plagues his hometown. The gameplay of Mariachi Legends combines elements of Metroidvania with a frenetic and reflex-based combat system. The player will explore a large map with interconnected areas, unlocking new abilities and paths as they progress through the story. Combat is brutal and requires precision, with the possibility of using various weapons and sub-weapons, customizing the fighting style. Special abilities, upgrades, and the transformation into La Sombra add depth to the combat system, allowing different approaches to facing enemies. Exploration also plays an important role, with the possibility of finding collectible items, ingredients for cooking, and solving mysteries. The story of Mariachi Legends revolves around Pablo Cruz and his mission to recover a powerful amulet that could threaten the balance between the world of the living and the dead. The setting is inspired by Mexican culture, with references to the Day of the Dead and local folklore. Mio Memories in Orbit, developed by the French studio Deux Dixièmes, is a platform game in the Metroidvania style with a release scheduled for 2025. The game invites players to explore the vessel, a gigantic technological ark that is adrift in space, dominated by rogue machines and vegetation. As Mio, an android, the main objective is to discover the secrets of the ship, understand what caused the collapse of its AIs, called Pearls, and prevent the place from becoming completely inoperative. The narrative unfolds through fragments of memory and exploration of the environment. Gameplay is a central point, combining the typical exploration of the Metroidvania genre with a combat system that focuses on skills and strategy. Mio has access to an arsenal of powers that can be used for both navigation and combat, including the ability to climb walls, float, and create decoy clones. Character progression is based on the acquisition of modules and the customization of skills, allowing you to adapt the playing style. Combat is deliberate, requiring the player to understand the attack patterns of the more than 30 types of enemies and 15 bosses to succeed. Technically, the game stands out for its art direction. The visual is like a fusion of science fiction, comics, and anime, with a hand-painted art style that gives a unique atmosphere. The soundtrack, with lo-fi and melodic elements, complements the experience, creating an environment that balances the beauty and decay of the ship. Crowsworn is a 2D action Metroidvania that is being developed by the Canadian studio Mongoose Rodeo. The project gained notoriety after a successful Kickstarter campaign, greatly exceeding the initial funding goal. The game takes place in a dark world called Firendale, which has been dominated by a curse. The player takes on the role of a protagonist with mysterious powers, exploring an interconnected world full of monsters and secrets. The narrative is constructed in a way that resembles games of the Souls-like genre, with the story being revealed through exploration and environmental details. In terms of mechanics, Crowsworn is often compared to titles like Hollow Knight, Devil May Cry, and Bloodborne, mainly for its approach to combat. The developers focused on creating a fluid and stylized combat system, with combos, dodges, and a variety of weapons and abilities. The game also includes a rune customization system that allows the player to adjust the playing style. The enemies were designed to be challenging, with more than 120 different types and about 30 unique bosses. In addition, the level design incorporates complex platform elements, including sections that refer to the difficulty of areas such as the Path of Pain of Hollow Knight. The visual of Crowsworn is another highlight, with a hand-drawn 2D art and traditional high-frame count animations. The art direction contributes to the dark atmosphere of the game. Forgotlings, developed by Throughline Games, is an adventure and action game with a cinematic aesthetic. It takes place in a magical world where forgotten objects come to life, a concept that the studio has already addressed in its previous work. Forgotten Anne. The narrative focuses on Fig, an articulated doll who needs to unite the tribes of Forgotlings to face an imminent threat. Fig's story is a journey of exploration and challenges, where the player accompanies him in an effort to protect the existence of this world and its inhabitants. The gameplay combines platform elements with action. Players can use a stealth approach to avoid confrontations or engage in direct combat. One of the notable technical aspects is the animation system, which uses hand-drawing techniques to create a distinct visual. The game also integrates a system of branching dialogues, where the player's choices can influence the unfolding of the story. Overall, the focus seems to be on an immersive narrative experience with which the player can interact in a meaningful way. The visual and soundtrack of Forgotlings are central points of the game. The art direction, inspired by classic animations, creates an environment with detailed characters and scenarios. The soundtrack, performed by the Copenhagen Philharmonic Orchestra, seeks to complement the cinematic atmosphere. The combination of these visual and auditory elements contributes to the setting and depth of the game world.
This is Sylvia's yawn. Double the amount of bolts on barrels with lost pieces. Vent accidents.
getting away.
Sylvia.
Step forth today. Take destiny into your own hands.
Time is running out for all of us. This here is a shooting star.
Where am I?
Can he fight?
My name is Fig. What can I do?
Unite the tribes. Revive the council.
If we are to get all the chiefs to speak to each other, we have to be able to look beyond our differences.
An intruder! Block all exits.
Why are you crying?
Father was right. You're just a Forgotling. You wouldn't understand.
Developer Artplay and publisher 505 Games announced Bloodstained: The Scarlet Engagement, a 2.5D action RPG that serves as a new chapter in the Gothic universe of the franchise. The title, announced during a State of Play event, is scheduled for release in 2026. The creative team includes the direction of Shutaro and the production of Koji Igarashi, known for his work on the Castlevania series, which maintains the essence of the Metroidvania style that characterizes the series. The plot of the game takes place in the 16th century and introduces two protagonists, Leonard, an apprentice of the Order of the Black Wolves, and Alexander, a knight survivor of the White Deer. The duo joins forces to face the ethereal castle, a mysterious and gigantic place that appeared, spreading terror throughout the region with its demonic forces. Their mission is to defeat the demon lord Elias, the one responsible for the castle and its threat, and break the chains that torment the kingdom. The castle itself is described as the largest and deadliest map in the franchise to date, with luxurious halls, dark caves, and deadly traps. In terms of gameplay, the game maintains the focus on non-linear exploration, dynamic combat, and challenging platforms. One of the new features is the introduction of a companion system, allowing the player to control two characters simultaneously, alternating between them in real time. One character is under direct control, while the other offers support in combat, which is a central element for progression. The producers mentioned that mastering this cooperative mechanic will be essential to overcome the challenges of the castle and its guardians.
So you've come, dogs of the church, right into the palm of my hand.
Shattered Soul is a 2.5D action and adventure game with Metroidvania style and beat-em-up elements, which promises an engaging experience in a world that mixes elements of medieval Europe with fantasy. The protagonist, Irith, embarks on a journey to recover her lost soul, using her broken sword, Bias, as her main tool. The game stands out for its captivating narrative and dynamic combat mechanics, combining exploration with frenetic action. The gameplay of Shattered Soul revolves around the exploration of diverse environments, including forests, cathedrals, and snowy villages located in a border region. Irith will face a variety of enemies, from bandits and fanatics to demonized humans and mutant animals, using different combat techniques. Progression in the game is influenced by the discovery of new paths and abilities, typical characteristics of the Metroidvania genre. The combat system, inspired by beat-em-up games, emphasizes fast action and fluid combos. The game features a striking visual style, with hand-drawn graphics that create a unique and immersive atmosphere. The combination of medieval and fantastic elements results in a visually rich and detailed world, which contributes to the player's immersion in the narrative. The cartoonized aesthetic balances the violence of the fighting with a touch of humor and lightness, making the experience more accessible and enjoyable. Raygun Gadabout is a game that is preparing for its debut. The central approach of the title is focused on the exploration of environments with a retro science fiction aesthetic. The developers emphasize the creation of a world where ray technology and unusual gadgets are the norm. The gameplay is based on navigating through these scenarios, where the player must interact with various elements to advance. The game seems to seek a more methodical experience, valuing observation and discovery rather than an accelerated pace. In terms of mechanics, the game offers a puzzle-solving system that requires the use of special tools. The main weapon, the Raygun, is not only for combat, but also to manipulate objects and open new paths. The player's progression is linked to the acquisition of new skills and improvements to the equipment, which allows access to previously inaccessible areas. The level design was designed to create a sense of interconnection, where the exploration of one area can unlock shortcuts to other parts of the map. The development team seems to have dedicated attention to creating a gameplay flow that rewards curiosity. The visual of the game is a highlight. The science fiction aesthetic of the 1950s is applied with consistency, using vibrant colors and models of characters and scenarios that resemble illustrations of the time. The art direction seeks to create a nostalgic atmosphere, transporting the player to a universe that celebrates the fantasy of the golden age of science fiction. This stylistic approach also extends to the user interface and sound design, which contribute to the immersion in this world. The care with aesthetic cohesion is noticeable in every aspect of the game.
And jumping.
Chicken with Robot Legs is an indie game developed and published by the Costa Rican studio Galopinto Games. It marks the creative fusion of the runner, continuous running genres with Metroidvania, resulting in a unique experience called Runnervania. In it, you control a robotic chicken that never stops running, exploring a 2D pixelated world full of secrets, alternative paths, and collectibles. The main character, the chicken with robotic legs, wakes up in an unknown location with no memory of who he is or how he got there. The only certainty is that he needs to find his way back home. The continuous nature of the race forces the player to use the scenario, jumps, attacks, and upgrades to advance and explore different routes. The game features retro pixel art style graphics with a light and fun aesthetic. It combines sci-fi environments with comic elements and vibrant lighting, resulting in a visual that refers to the classics of the 1990s, but with a modern touch and fluidity typical of current indies. In addition, it includes partial support for controls, compatible with keyboard and gamepad, although the demo version already allows you to experience the basic mechanics even before the final release.
You're gonna have to reach around to press enter. There we go. What do I run? Unknown lab. Oh, we got enemies. Okay, so let's... But that time I didn't. Nice. Z. Do I have to slow down? Oh. Now, I don't see you. You don't need to slow down. Oh, you need to slow down there. I want to see what's in that hole. It might be... Again, there I got bonked by the rubble. I don't know if that's intentional, which makes it very unreliable if it is. But sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. Is this a secret area?
Volkolak: The Will of Gods is an action Metroidvania that is being developed by Red Mountain. The game takes place in a world inspired by Slavic mythology, where the culture and folklore of the region serve as the basis for the narrative. In it, you take on the role of a Volkolak, which is a kind of shapeshifter that can turn into a wolf, and explore this world facing creatures and other challenges that are based on Slavic legends. The gameplay focuses heavily on combat and exploration. The combat system is described as fast and challenging, with the possibility of using both weapons and the protagonist's werewolf abilities. The transformation mechanic for Wolf is not just a visual trick. It directly influences the combat and the way the player interacts with the environment, offering different advantages and disadvantages depending on the form. In addition, the game seeks to create a dark atmosphere using visual and audio elements to immerse the player in this universe. In terms of progression, there are typical RPG elements, such as a system of skill trees that allows you to customize the Volkolak for different playstyles. Players can choose to focus on combat skills, spells, or the capabilities of the wolf form. The game world is built to be explorable, with secrets and optional areas that reward curiosity. The plot, which involves the search for gods and the fight against evil forces, unfolds as the player advances. Hollow Knight Silksong is the highly anticipated sequel to the acclaimed indie game Hollow Knight, developed by Team Cherry, an Australian studio. Announced in February 2019, the game initially conceived as an expansion of the original grew so much in scope that it became an independent title. Silksong puts players in control of Hornet, the princess protector of Hallownest, now in a new adventure in the kingdom of Farloom, a vast and interconnected world, full of coral forests, mossy grottos, golden cities, and misty swamps. The game maintains the 2D Metroidvania style, with emphasis on exploration, acrobatic combat, and a rich narrative, while introducing more than 150 new enemies, refined mechanics, and a mission system that involves hunting rare beasts, solving ancient mysteries, and searching for lost treasures. The gameplay of Silksong promises to evolve the formula of the first game, with Hornet using a set of lethal movements, including attacks with needle and tools such as weapons, traps, and mechanisms that allow you to explore heights and defeat enemies in creative ways. The game also features the Silk Soul mode, an additional challenge that alters the experience to make it even more difficult after the completion of the main campaign. Well, that was the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and see you next time.